Hey everybody, Arnaldo here, broadcasting from Fidelios frequency. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to the third and final video about my trip to Europe over the past summer. I visited some really great cities, and I also did some serious record shopping. You probably noticed already on my channel. If you haven't, I recommend you check them out. My video on record shopping in London, as well as record shopping in Amsterdam. And as you probably saw from the title and the thumbnail of this video, we'll be taking a look at my stay in Italy, as well as the record shopping that I did while I was there in my hometown of Salerno. All of this right after the intro. I spent my time in Italy visiting my hometown of Salerno. Salerno is a city, second largest city by population in the region of Campania, roughly 130,000. About a half hour, 40 minutes on a good day from Naples. It sits in the Gulf of Salerno, and it is very close to the Amalfi Coast. Positano, Amalfi, so many beautiful cities along the Amalfi Coast. If you haven't visited, I highly recommend. Picturesque, crystal clear waters, amazing food, whether you're having delicious pasta or amazing pizza. I highly recommend. I have really, of course, I'm from that area, and Neapolitan style pizza for me is the way to go. So I don't think anywhere in that area you could eat a bad pizza. Desserts, highly recommend picking up or trying out a delizia al limone, which is just spectacular. It's impossible to describe how refined it is. Just taste it to enjoy it. I had some time to enjoy the beaches there, as well as spending great time catching up with friends and quality time with family. And while I was in Salerno, I had the opportunity to venture out about 30-40 minutes out of Salerno to Pompeii, to the ancient ruins, which I had seen many times before, but I had never been there for a show. And I was lucky enough to get tickets to see Nick Cave performing in the Amphitheater, which is the large theater in Pompeii, the same theater where Pink Floyd also recorded their live film. He performed on a solo tour, just him on piano, and accompanied by only one band member, and that was Colin Greenwood on bass from Radiohead. Unique experience, amazing setting, great set list, songs spanning from the earlier parts of his career all the way through his last album. Just very, very lucky to be able to be there to witness that. And now let me tell you about the two record stores that I visited, which I believe are the only two record stores that are left in Salerno. The first one is the oldest one. It's been around since 1965, and it's called Disclan, founded by Luciano Maise. His legacy is now carried on by his son, Mario, and it's always a pleasure to visit. Every time I'm in Salerno, I always manage to find some time to take a look at his store, say hi, catch up with him. And the store is a one-stop shop for a bit of everything. You'll have new and used records. You have a very good selection of CDs, as well as records, as vinyl, in Italian repertoire, as well as non-Italian repertoire. And it's centrally located, and it's always a pleasure, like I said, to shop there. And I picked up something that, two things that I thought I was going to find while I was in London on my way to Italy, but I never came across any copies that were in great condition. Lo and behold, while I was at Disclan, I found a copy of XTC's Go 2, the second album by XTC that came out in 1978, I believe, and iconic cover done by the studio Hypnosis. And it basically, probably most of you already know, it is an essay that is supposed to focus on the importance of the album cover, on how it's supposed to attract the buyer. And I'm sure many of us have picked up an album only because of its album cover or the picture or the artwork. So this is basically telling you what it's for, what the album cover is for. The essay is on the front as well as on the back. And the essay is also carried out in the same style on the labels, on the Virgin labels here. These were the 80s version of the Virgin labels. On both labels, you have all the text written in an essay fashion. It also came with the original blank inner sleeve, which at the time featured a custom stamp by XTC with the catalog number, kind of also calling back to the essay on the cover, as well as the insert, the gatefold insert, which has the group photo in the middle, color, and the map of Swindon, which is the town where XTC are from. And there's a peculiarity of the insert where the inside text can be matched up to the album cover, kind of forming like a puzzle to complete the text or the essay that is on the rear of the album cover. I'm a fan of XTC. I have pretty much all of their albums, UK copies, and this was a great addition for me. A little bit about the album, probably not as refined as the later XTC, still influenced a little bit by the scene of 1978, maybe a little punkish, a little ska, a little reggae here and there. And originally was supposed to be produced. They reached out to Brian Eno, who was a fan of them, and he declined, basically saying, you guys are good enough that you can produce yourselves. But instead, the label insisted that they have a producer, and they went back to John Leckie. The initial pressing of 15,000 also included a bonus EP, which leads me to the second purchase that I made. Yes, originally they were sold together, but unfortunately in this specific instance, they were being sold separately. Still, first pressing, UK pressing, I was able to also pick up the companion EP, which is called Go Plus. Totally different, just completely black cover. And here we have 5 songs. They are dub versions of 5 songs that are on the main album, Go 2. And yes, this one pretty much not as elaborate. The packaging, just plain inner sleeve, which was still the original one from the UK, and same Virgin labels, in this case, the 80s versions. The next record store I'd like to talk to you about is probably the record store that is the dearest to my heart on a personal level. First, because I have purchased, or at least while I was mostly living in Salerno, countless CDs and records from there. But because, and more importantly, it is run and owned by 2 of my very dear friends, Gianfranco and Massimo. The name of the store is Duda. And as you can see here, it was founded in 1989. This is the commemorative tote for their 30th anniversary. So that probably means that they're reaching the 36 years of activity. And let me tell you a little bit about Duda. Duda is a store where you will find probably things that you won't find in other record stores. They cater to a very curated clientele. Yes, you'll find the hits here and there, but you'll find collectibles. Some of them are personally, the majority are personally owned by the owners. And new records, used records, CDs, and more importantly, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the owners. Yes, I said that they are very dear friends, but they are what I consider my early and even now music mentors. I have learned about so much music through Gianfranco and Massimo. Gianfranco was the first person who turned me on to the Smiths at the very early start of the Smiths' career. And since then, you know my love for the Smiths. Thanks to Massimo, I've learned so much about jazz and Brazilian music. He's a big fan of Brazilian music, and his love for Joni Mitchell is contagious. I learned to appreciate Joni Mitchell through Massimo. But not only that, there are countless genres, types of music that I've been exposed to, so many artists that I've been exposed to based on Massimo and Gianfranco's recommendations. So they have been instrumental in my initial journey into music and planted so many seeds for me to explore music even further. And now let me tell you about the two albums that I picked up at Duda. They're both by an Italian artist, same artist. His name is Fabrizio De André. I'd like to preface, when I go to Italy, I typically shop for records that I can't find elsewhere. And that means artists, Italian artists, mostly original pressings, first pressings. And they're really hard to come by even in Italy because they're not always in the best condition. A lot of the records that I'm looking for are early 80s or late 70s or mid 70s. So it's a bit of a challenge. And when I find records that are in good condition by these artists, I don't hesitate to pick them up. Fabrizio De André, let me tell you a little bit about him. He died very young, actually, only at 59, I believe, in 1999. Singer-songwriter, initially influenced by the French chansonniers, by Leonard Cohen, Bob Dylan. So you kind of get the idea of what kind of music, a little on the folky side at times. And this album that I'd like to show you, building up the anticipation, is probably one of my favorite of his albums. I'm not familiar with all of his discography, more of his later stuff. And I own this on CD. I wanted to have it also on vinyl. It's called Cruezza de Ma. Beautiful album, probably different from all the other albums that he produced. It is steeped in world music. I would say the main influence is music from the Mediterranean. As you can see here, Greece, an influence to start with the cover. This is a shot that was taken of a building in Greece. Let me show you the front. The back also has the other part of the building. And I haven't told you about the title. It's not in Italian. It is Genoese dialect, and it stands for, I believe, Seaside Mule Track. The entire album is sung in Genovese, the dialect from Liguria, the region, and reproduced inside are those lyrics along with the translation into Italian, because the majority of Italy would not have understood what he was singing about. I mentioned the world music influence. A lot of ethnic, different instruments from different cultures are utilized here. He wrote the lyrics, the initial melodies. Mauro Pagani, former member of the Prague rock band PFM, did the music and I believe also the arrangements. The album came out in 1984 and was name-checked by none other than David Byrne, who hailed it as a milestone in world music and probably also one of the best albums, most important albums of the decade. Rolling Stone, the Italian Rolling Stone, hailed it, I think, number 4 in their chart on their rating of best Italian albums ever made. So if you like world music, give this one a shot. Sample it on streaming services or on YouTube. I think you will enjoy it if you enjoy world music. And the other album by Fabrizio De André that I picked up is his second to last album. It's called Le Nuvole, which means the clouds. Yes, this one is all in Italian except for one song, which is in Neapolitan dialect. One of my favorite songs on here called Don Raffaele. And the hologram, I was lucky enough to find a copy of the first pressing with the hologram of the clouds. I don't know if you could see it here. Subsequent pressings replaced it with a non-hologram image of clouds. This album followed the previous one that I spoke about, Cruezza de Ma, by 6 years, came out in 1990. And it's quite, I won't say quite different. It does have a couple of elements of world music in it, but it's not uh, it's not mainly world music like the previous one. There's one song called Ottocento, is almost an operetta. There are a couple of classical interludes in here. Again, co-written with Mauro Pagani from PFM. Another beautiful album by Fabrizio De André. And that brings us to the end of this video, the end of my trip to Europe. I took you to London, Amsterdam, and Italy. Check out the other 2 videos on my channel. But before we part, I want to remind you that it is free to subscribe to the channel. It does not cost you anything, so click on that subscription button and what the hell, also the notification button so that you are prompted whenever I drop a new video. That is all for today for this video, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks again for watching.